God's compassion knows no withholding. This God lives in all, and all live in God. We belong together. We belong to one another. My personal identification with Thomas Merton's journey to radical oneness is something that I first heard about 30 years ago. As a student, I visited the Brothers of the Society of St. Francis on the Deer Park Road every Thursday night for a meal and a short service of communion. It was they who introduced me to Merton, and in Merton, the scent of the search for oneness is everywhere in his writings. Thomas Merton's reflective life of contemplation and action found expression in his writings, particularly in his private journals, which open up such needed pathways to a life where all are welcomed into God's compassionate heart. There are no exceptions, no exclusions. This vision of the oneness we already are was given to Merton rather than discovered by him. He records his experience in his book, Conjectures of a Guilty Bystander, where he shares his experience on a crowded street corner in the midst of an ordinary day. He says this: "In the centre of the shopping district, I was suddenly overwhelmed with the realization that I loved all those people, that they were mine and I theirs, that we could not be alien to one another, even though we were total strangers. This changes nothing in the sense and value of my solitude, for it is, in fact, the function of solitude to make one realize such things with a clarity that would be impossible to one completely immersed in other cares. My solitude, however, is not my own. It is because I am with them that I owe it to them to be alone. And when I am alone, they are not they, but my own self. There are no strangers. If only we could see each other that way all of the time. But this cannot be seen, only believed and understood by a peculiar gift." By the early 1960s, a spiritually mature Merton knew by a contemplative, intuitive grasp that oneness is a return to the truth in which we have always been held. In October 1968, just weeks before his death, Merton told a large audience of Asian monks at a Calcutta conference, "My dear brothers, we are already one, but we imagine that we are not. What we have to recover is our original unity. What we have to be is what we already are." But I trust in you, Lord. I say, you are my God. My times are in your hands. Deliver me from the hands of my enemies, from those who pursue me. Let your face shine on your servant. Save me in your unfailing love. God in heaven, we turn to you. Hear our longing, hear our hopes, hear our faith. Our future lies in your hands. Free each heart from discouragement and sadness over the many evils of the world. Make us free from earthly things, yet bound in spirit with you. Help us on our pilgrimage through life. As we walk with you, fill us with hope that the whole world will see the light, for in your light alone can we find fullness of life. Protect us and bless us through your Spirit. For every night there comes a morning, no matter how dark or cold I feel. So I will rest here in your blessing, safe in your arms, free from all fear. For every sorrow there is a healing, no matter how empty or broken I feel. So I will hide within your shelter, cherished and loved, warm and still. Amen.